Today we're going to have a chat about issues faced by a Filipina in a foreign country. So, when they first come to your country, whether that be, my country here in Australia, yours in the US, England, New Zealand, Canada, India, wherever, Saudi Arabia, wherever it might be, the issues that Filipina will most likely face. I've got five things listed, and that I believe are very important for you as the husband or the man to understand, so that you'll know what she's going through when she does come to live there. And I think most Filipinos will go through these things. So stay tuned, we'll be back shortly. So the first and most obvious difference for the Filipino when she comes to live in your country is going to be the food. So in the Philippines, they have a very basic, stable diet around fish and rice. Is a lot of it, and they got their other dishes. Their chicken adobos and whatever else they have over there. Their balut. If you don't know what balut is, check it out. But there's they have their own individual taste, as you would if you went to their country. You would find the food quite difficult to come to terms with and get used to. That's why I know a lot of foreigners, when they go to the Philippines, they'd be looking for the first KFC or McDonald's to run to, and I'm no exception there either. So you got to remember, now she's come to live there, she can't run off to the nearest Filipino restaurant, because I know where I live, they're very few and far between. So getting used to your food, and the stomach can have a bit of a problem with getting used to different food too. So she could have some stomach issues. So you want to keep an eye out for that, and tell her to be open about that, whether you need to see a doctor or go to the chemist or whatever to get something to help settle that. Make it a bit easier, I don't know, but usually they'll get used to it in time. But you might be able to just be aware of that. It is a difficult thing with the food, and you might want to gradually get her used to your type of foods. Let her, if she wants to have the rice and the noodles and that sort of thing, which will help initially, then knock her socks off. My wife's been here 4 years and she still has a fair share of rice and noodles and that sort of thing. So you find over a period of time it evens out. They start to combine the two foods together, and there's no issue at all. So the second one is obviously the culture. So culturally, the West is very different to the Philippines. So it's about explaining and helping her understand what the culture in that country is. And it's about not allowing her to have her culture and her identity as well. So it's about blending the two together there, and saying, well, you don't have to lose your identity and your culture, but we just have to move them together a little bit so they fit side by side. Don't try and take her culture away. Let her do the things. Look, if my wife wants to sit here and eat her rice with her hands like she did in the Philippines, that's her way of still hanging on to part of who she is and where she's come from. I have no problems with that. In a restaurant it'd be a different matter, but at her home, no, she's fine to do that. There's just a few little things like that help her stay connected to where she came from, and that's very, very important. I never wanted to lose that. So the third one would be communication. Now, obviously, for a lot of Filipinos going to a new country, the communication can be an issue, especially at the very start. They may speak the language, English fairly well, but they don't always understand exactly everything that's being said or going on. And sometimes they'll just shake their head and go, yes, but they don't really understand what's happening. So you've got to be real clear with them and watch out that they are understanding what you're saying. I know many times that Jessica, I've thought she's understood what's being said, but it hasn't. It's caused communication conflict, and it's caused some issues at times. I won't lie. At times we've had some issues around that, but especially in the early days. As we're going now 4 years into being in Australia, her communication and her understanding is becoming a lot greater, and those issues are becoming far and far, less frequent. So, but just be aware at the very start, the communication, she might say to you, yes, I understand, but watch that she does, because she may not really understand, or she might even think she understands what you're saying. But it's that communication barrier and that thing in the early stages. You need to, be the one to take the lead on that and make sure that she is understanding. They may pay for some Filipinas to go and do an English course. I know in Australia that they're eligible for free English courses here in Australia when they, after a period of time when they first come and they get on their, I think, partner visa, then they're eligible to do, that sort of course. So other countries may have similar programs for migrant women or migrant people to go and do these courses, which can help as well. The fourth point, and it's a very big one, is loneliness. Now, you imagine you've gone to a new country, you don't know anyone. The only person she knew when she came here was me, and that would probably most likely be the same for most other people. She can't work, because at this point, when she's first come to Australia, she's not allowed to work because she's on the tourist visa, and they're waiting good 9-10 months for the partner visa to be approved. So it's about trying to help her connect, I guess, and make her feel as comfortable as possible in the new country. Now, the way we tried to do this was to connect with other Filipinos. Now, she was, we were downtown or whatever, and she met a Filipina there, and she started talking to them. That, I'll give her credit for that, because she was obviously looking for something familiar, and she found that woman. Now, from that, their networks grow. Filipinas, they'll know every Filipino just about in that community. So the networks grow, and from that, the loneliness became less and less, because, as I say, she can't work, so what's she going to do all the time? A lot of times she was just waiting for me to come home from work, and that was a bit of a lonely time for my wife, for sure. But she got through that, and with the help of other Filipinas here in our community, she was able to go and visit them and talk to them, and then eventually, once she was allowed to work, she got help into getting into a job, and she's been doing that sort of work ever since. So it's tough. It's very tough at the start, and you've got to watch out for things like depression, and they can get angry a bit easy because they're so lonely, and they're feeling lost within themselves, which leads me to point 5. She's got to find a way. You've got to help her find a way in her new life. It's not just a matter of saying, off you go, enjoy yourself, do what you're going to do and make your own way. You've got to help her to do that. So by being supportive around that, encouraging her to make new friends, encouraging her to, go and get a job, if it's a casual job, part-time job, whatever, do something which is going to help her integrate into the community. Be part of the cultural festivals here, where we go to the Philippines Australia Christmas party, and they have cultural festivals here and that sort of thing. You attend those sorts of things, which keeps her connected with people in the community, both Australian and Filipinos, and it makes her feel part of, her new life is now coming all together. Encourage her to get her license as well, her driver's license. I found that to be a massive thing. I've seen, where we live, I've seen other Australian Filipino couples where they're not really encouraged to get their license and be independent. Having that independence is an amazing thing for the confidence in a Filipino. Now, my wife, when she first started to learn, she very much doubted herself that she could do it. She'd never driven a car. She'd never even really spent much time sitting in a car in the Philippines, let alone learning how to drive one and manage one. So at first she had a lot of doubts around that, and she, at one point, she wanted to quit, but I encouraged her to keep going, because I knew how important it was to have that license. The independence it would give her. She'd go to shops when she wanted, she'd go to her friends when she wanted, she could pick her daughter up from school. She didn't have to rely on me for everything, and that was a massive thing. So encourage, when your Filipina is trying to find a way in this world, encourage her to get a license, help her to do it, and you'll see a massive change in her as well. So that's my advice around that anyway. So that's just, I guess, a broad overview of 5 issues faced, and they're to me were the 5 biggest ones that we faced when Cheska first came to Australia, and it probably went on for 12 to 18 months. So that was what we found. I hope this has helped some of you guys out there who might be struggling with what your Filipina is going through, and I hope it's helped the Filipinas to understand that they're not alone, that this does happen, but you do get through it, and there's some tips in there which hopefully will help you to get through it. So if you've liked the video, hit the like button. I'd love to hear all the comments below, so get those comments going in there. I'd like to hear about your experiences around this, and hit the subscribe button and put the notification bell on for more videos, and share it around. Share the video with people who may be interested in this. So thanks very much, guys. I appreciate you watching, and take care. Bye for now.